Hey guys, it's Rubik's Cubes, and today I'm doing a review on the Moyu Aochang, as well as a comparison of the Moyu Aochang and the Moyu Huachang. The white one's an Aochang, the black one's a Huachang. Now let's get into the review of the Aochang. Out of the box, the Aochang is very smooth, but it's very dry. And when I mean by dry, I mean by rough and crunchy. It had almost no lube into this, which I was quite surprised because Moyu definitely likes to pre-lubricate their cubes before shipping them out. So I was surprised about that. However, with my own cubicle silicone lube, weight 2, it makes this cube absolutely stunning. Shades are actually much nicer on a white cube than it is on a black cube. I don't know why, because I really felt that I got faster times on an Aochang than I did on a Huachang, even though my Huachang is much better. So the shades are a big plus on the Aochang, especially if it's white, because I think it's because you see the edges are a tad bit smaller, or the stickers I should say are a tad bit smaller, so that does help me in edge pairing, because then I don't have to care much about these centerpieces, where I get sometimes confused between the centerpieces and the edge pieces because they're almost the same size, whereas here they're much smaller. Corner gunning on this cube is actually, it varies a lot. I mean, sometimes it can do almost 2 pieces, but other times it cannot. It just locks up, or it just takes, really a lot of force to do it. So it's pretty random of how this corner cutting works, but personally, I don't like to rely on corner cutting on a 5x5, so I don't care. Another thing that's great about the Aochang is that the pieces are a bit bigger, or I should say taller, than on a Huachang. I have really tight tensions here, but if you really see here, this piece is much more extended, where if you see on a Huachang, it's really hard to take out a piece on a Huachang. But if you see here, the Huachang, it doesn't have that much of an extension, whereas here there's a much larger extension that goes closer to the core. I don't know why this is. That's probably why the Huachang doesn't lock up as much as it does in the Aochang, but we'll cover more of that in the comparison. One thing that's pretty bad about the Aochang is that popping or lockups do occur more than on the Huachang. I think I said that in my previous slide. That's because maybe the long extension on the pieces, but I actually like that. It makes it look cool, and also I think it also improves the turning on the outer edges for some reason. But lockups do occur, and they're pretty bad, especially when you have them in a solve, because once you have them in a solve, your solve is ruined. I mean, you get nothing more, no less than at least 6 or 8 minutes, because I actually had a lockup in a competition once, and it just went really bad. Now let's get into the comparison of the Aochang and the Huachang. Actually, if you really notice, hold on, let me just get this set up. Yeah, see, the Aochang is just a tad bit bigger than the Huachang. I don't know if that's clear on my camera, but if you see it, look at the top corner in the middle, the Aochang is just a tiny bit bigger. So that doesn't make really a big difference on me. I actually felt that the Aochang was smaller, mainly because actually these edge pieces are probably, or the edge stickers are probably smaller than they are on the Huachang. So I don't think it makes a big difference on which one's smaller, but definitely the Aochang does feel smaller, even though it is technically bigger. Now, I'm glad I have both white and black, because now I can compare the stickers, and if you really want to ask my honest opinion, those stickers on the white look actually a bit cooler on a 5x5. However, it would look really ugly on a 6x6 and a 7x7. I don't know why, but I just feel that I think a white 5x5 looks really cool. But this is obviously my personal preference. Your preference might be different. And as usual, I do prefer black cubes, similar to Crazy Bad Cuber. So there's no reason that I shouldn't be using this as my main, which I am. The Huachang has similar corner gunning on the Aochang. It's just a little bit more consistent than it is in the Aochang. On some parts, the Aochang's corner cutting is absolutely stunning, and it's much better than the Huachang, but in some places, the Huachang is better because it is more consistent. Let's see what else. The Huachang definitely is more smooth than the Aochang, especially out of the box. That's probably because Moyu has been making this cube a bit more, or has started making this cube later than it started making the Aochang. And, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, this is the newer batch of the Aochang, so this is not the older batch. I think JR Cuber did an unboxing of the older batch because there's a rumor that Moyu made a slight adjustment to the newer batches of the Aochang, so yeah. I think Paradox Cubing also has the older and the newer batch of the Aochangs, but personally, it doesn't really matter, they're both pretty much the same. Anyways, there's nothing much I can really say about both of these cubes. They're both absolutely stunning, and as price-wise, there's only a $5 difference. This is starting at $33 on cubicle.us. This is about $38. So I would say you should go for the Huachang if you have to get a really good 5x5, but if you already own a Shengshou, if you're competing, definitely get a Huachang. If you're not competing, the Shengshou is perfectly fine. I mean, I really love my Shengshou, especially after it's fluorine modded, and there's probably no need to actually get a Moyu 5x5 if you're not competing. Because if you are competing, the 5x5 will improve your time drastically. There's so many good things about this cube, it's almost impossible to compare it to a Shengshou. Anyways, this basically ends my review and comparison of these two cubes, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.